Great farmers, no farmer. Ẹ ṣé. Wọ́n tún kọ́ mi ní Yorùbá kan. Ó dá mi lójú pé àwọn akọ̀kan bí máa mọ̀. Wọ́n ní oúnjẹ lẹ́yìn. Oúnjẹ lẹ́yìn. The English people will say an egg a day keeps the doctor away. It's a pleasure to welcome us to today's program.
Great farmer, no farmer, distinguished guests, industry, stakeholders, poultry farmers, exhibitors, sponsors, and friends. It is with great honor and excitement that I welcome you all to this year Oyo Mega Poultry Workshop 2025. A platform dedicated to strengthen the future of our poultry industry through cooperative synergy and strategic investments. As we gather here today, we must acknowledge the significant challenges facing the poultry sector. Rising feed costs, market instability, disease outbreak, fluctuation demand, and limited access to structural financing. Despite these challenges, we remain resilient and our industry continue to be a critical pillar of Nigerian agricultural economy. The need for collective action and cooperation. The poultry industry is a key contributor to food security, employment, and national economic growth. But we cannot overcome these challenges in isolation. It is time for us to move beyond individual struggle and embrace the power of cooperation. This is why today's theme is so critical. Strengthening poultry farming through cooperative synergy means working together as farmers, processors, marketers, and stakeholders to one, pool resources for bulk purchasing of feed and input to lower cost. 2, create egg umbrella aggregation center to stabilize market price. 3, share technical knowledge and best practice to improve farm productivities. 4, enhance bargaining power in negotiating with buyers, suppliers, and policy maker. This cooperative approach has been successfully implemented in countries that dominate global poultry production.
On behalf of the entire Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State Chapter, I welcome you all to today's gathering. It is the tradition of Panoi to organize annual workshop and seminar in order to synthesize, educate and train farmers and impart knowledge to poultry producers. Nigeria is the third largest poultry producer in Africa. From available data, the Nigerian poultry industry engaged almost 85 million people in poultry production across small, medium, and large-scale sectors. In the southwest part of Nigeria, Oyo State is the largest producer of day-old chicks and broiler processing, while Ogun State is assumed to be the largest producer of commercial table eggs. Nigeria Annual Poultry Show. Fellow poultry farmers, let me use this opportunity to call your attention to the following facts. Ibadan is the center and heartbeat of the southwestern region, serving as the regional capital during the era of regionalism in the country. With the newly reconstructed Ibadan-Lagos Express Road and upgraded of Ibadan Airport to international standards, the city is poised for greater economic growth. In view of this, I advise that we move the annual Nigerian Poultry Exposition down to Ibadan, or at most base it on rotational between the two cities, Abeokuta, Ogun State, and Ibadan, Oyo State. With the completion of this poultry center, the financial burden of hiring halls for exposition will surely become a thing of the past. Appreciation and appeal to Southwest governors. We appreciate the effort of the Southwest governors in sustaining the poultry farmers, most especially during challenges of raw materials and scarcity. We appeal to them to do their best in supporting the poultry industry, as they are the largest employer of labor among all agricultural sectors. According to World Food and Agricultural Statistics, poultry makes a substantial contribution of 25% GDP in agricultural economy.
Poultry farming in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa is at a pivotal moment. And I'm starting by explaining that we are going through a lot. And I'm going to be speaking to some data that will speak to some of the challenges that we are facing and the best way that we can actually come out of it. Despite the sheer determination that we all have, because poultry farmers are hard workers, it's very strange to have poultry farmers in one room like this, if it's not because you are celebrating your anniversary. Poultry farmers are always on their farms, or they are in the feed mill, or they are trying to sort a problem or the other. It's really a very difficult time, and I hope and pray that we are going to thrive beyond this time to be able to weather the storms that we are presently facing. The fragile model of what we have as poultry farmers, it poses a lot of serious risk to food security, economic growth, and employment. My assignment today is to highlight critical challenges and present innovative practical solutions for sustainable poultry farming. I have some statistics here that I'll just speak to. This is about the Nigerian poultry industry, and this is an updated statistics as far back, as early as 2024. The Nigeria poultry population is a little bit over 200 million birds that are placed annually. I need to mention that because most times when they are trying to run the statistics of this industry, people miss out to understand that poultry farming is in cycles. It is not a permanent structure you just put down and you expect it, apart from the building and the cage. But the operationality of what you do is on a cyclic basis. Egg production, Nigeria produces over 650 billion naira worth of eggs annually. Approximately, it's around 10 billion eggs. Meat production accounts for 30%. Poultry meats account for 30% of the total meat consumption in Nigeria. And I should say that it is chicken and egg that is the most affordable protein in this country today. Chicken is cheaper than beef. Chicken is cheaper than fish. In terms of GDP contribution, the livestock sector contributes 7 to 10% of Nigeria's agricultural GDP. And poultry is the largest contributor within the livestock sector. I want us to be taking note of these key points. In terms of smallholder farmers' dominance, over 60% of poultry production comes from smallholder farmers that have less than 1,000 birds, either broilers or layers. In terms of employment, the poultry industry or the value chain itself presently employs or supports over 25 million Nigerians. That is more than 10% of this country's population. Now, I'm going to drill it down a bit into Oyo State. Oyo State, I call it the poultry powerhouse of Nigeria. And it's not because we are just in Oyo State. It is because, truly, Oyo State is the poultry powerhouse. And we are speaking to that because Oyo State contributes 11% to Nigeria's total poultry production. We might look at 11% as a small number. But if you look at the statistics of other states, it is closely followed by Lagos and Ogun states. They are dragging that next 7-8%. It is home to the highest concentration of breeder farms and hatcheries in the country. if we think about this, it will let us know that the foundation of poultry business are the breeder farms. Do we agree? And the hatcheries, because there's no broiler farm, there's no layer farm without the breeder farms and the hatcheries. Oyo State holds the largest day-old chicks market in sub-Saharan Africa, and they are trading over 10 million birds weekly. Now, I'm not saying this is the total trade in that market, but what is being moved from each of the hatchery owners to other farms is actually, around this figure. In terms of infrastructure and market access, we have a lot of key poultry clusters that exist in Ibadan, Oyo, Iseyin, Ogbomoso, and Okeogun zones. Eggs and broilers from Oyo are distributed to neighboring states like Lagos, Ogun, Kwara, and Osun, while day-old chicks move beyond Nigeria's borders. What we're saying is that from Oyo State, day-old chicks move to Ghana, moves to Togo, moves to, other regional areas. Now, the challenges facing poultry businesses, in terms of, I've mentioned the strategic contribution of the poultry industry to Nigeria's agricultural sector, and our farms are struggling, are stagnating, and even some of them are presently shut down. Livestock subsector contributes 25% to Nigeria's agricultural GDP. It accounts for 30% of Nigeria's livestock GDP. The poultry industry accounts for 30% of the entire livestock GDP. And in total, the poultry industry contributes 10% to Nigeria's total agriculture GDP. Again, I'm now going to run through what a survey we did last year in Oyo State. Over 65% of small farms and medium poultry farms in Oyo State are presently operating below 50% of their installed capacity. Nearly 2 in 4 farms have shut down presently or suspended operations due to high input cost and market instability. What does this mean? If we ask 4 farmers to stand up now at random, you are likely to see 2 out of them that have shut down their operations. And we're able to, this sample was across 150 farms, across all the 5 zones in Oyo State. And if we look at these charts, the blue line is actually what they presently have in stock. The red line is their installed capacity. What does this mean? For a farm that has, let's say, a 10,000 capacity in terms of maybe their the stocking capacity, they have less than 5,000 birds on their farm today. As at this morning when we're even, discussing, one farmer just mentioned that, he just had to keep 200 birds on the farm so that, and in February, when there was a spike in the cost of egg, he was almost regretting that why did I even shut down in the first place? The challenges that are facing poultry business are so many things I'm going to be discussing. And I'm now going to, before we delve into the solutions that we're proposing today. And before I delve into this, let me say that it is important for us to understand the dynamics of the industry where we operate. We are not alone. As at yesterday, the United States is importing eggs from South Korea and Turkey because they had an incidence of AI just like, some few months ago. And they lost almost 160 million birds. So as a result of that, the present egg that they produce in the United States is not enough again. And they are importing from Turkey, they are importing from South Korea. Someone asked me this morning, can't we export from Nigeria? There are so many stories to that. Because our production practices does not encourage export yet.
On behalf of the national president and on behalf of myself as the national vice president and at the same time Southwest Chairman, we welcome all of us to these programs. All protocols duly observed. I want to commend Pan Oyo State for this laudable program. I have been attending, but this year on is like he has gone gay. In fact, when I entered, I thought I was entering to Nigerian poultry show in Abeokuta. Because look at the kind of booths. Last year we didn't have it like this. We did it down there in that open space. But this year, look at the way the booth has been structured. I want to thank Oyo State for this leading role in structural development in Pan Southwest. Let's put our hands together for Oyo State. As the chairman of Pan, I'm from Ondo State. But I know that when you talk of poultry production, poultry activities, poultry structures, we are far, 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 far behind Oyo State. And so when you see people doing something your own state cannot do, you have to appreciate and acknowledge it. So, sir, we appreciate, we acknowledge. We are going to overtake you in the nearest future. Hallelujah. Yes, so and we want to specifically appreciate our local and international partners. I know all of you are there. I don't know all your names, but we want to let you know that we appreciate you so much. You are part of the driving force of poultry production in Southwest and in Nigeria as a whole.
I really want to appreciate the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State Chamber for putting together this very, very beautiful workshop. I welcome you all the big men and big women here seated, those who are to give speeches, even those who are already preparing their questions, because I know there will be many questions. I looked at the theme of, this is a goodwill message from the Ibadan Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. I look at the theme of this workshop. It says, strengthening poultry farmer through cooperative synergy and strategic business, a strategic investment. I say that everything here is built on hope. H-O-P-E. Yoruba says, "Ingba ti emi ba nbe, reti nbe." May we never lack hope in Jesus' name. This hope, without hope, you cannot do anything. Without hoping that you will wake up tomorrow morning, you will not plan anything. And this hope has become part of us. We even have it as a name, Fol-Hope. In hope, there is strength, there is life, there is patience, there is peace, there is success, and therefore economic strength. And that means money, money, money. This message is asking you to continue to have hope in your association, to have hope in those that are leading you, to have hope that when you go to the government, you will bring back something great.
I want to deliver the speech of the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development. I'm highly delighted to be part of this annual event, which has been designed to judiciously address essential needs for the revitalization of the operation of the entities in the agricultural value chain for efficient and profitable performance, with emphasis on poultry industry. The theme of this year workshop, strengthening poultry farming through cooperative synergy and strategic investment, is timely and relevant. As we gather here today, I would like to acknowledge the significant contributions of poultry farmers to Oyo State's economy. Your hard work and dedication have made Oyo State a leader in poultry production, and we are committed to supporting your efforts. Poultry used to be a common source of protein for man in Nigeria, especially with the readily available local breeds in the backyard. Nowadays, farmers are faced with challenges of high cost and scarcity of feed ingredients, disease outbreak, but we believe that by working together, we can overcome the challenges facing the industry and create a more sustainable and profitable future for all stakeholders. You will recall that His Excellency at the beginning of this administration promised to drive the economy of the state using agriculture. May I seek your indulgence to list some of the achievements of Oyo State government in agriculture under the leadership of His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde. The launch of a strategic invention known as Sustainable Action for Economic Recovery, SAVER, on 5th August 2023 by the Executive Governor has achieved the following. Distribution of 8 bags, each of 550 kilogram maize grain to 2,800 poultry farmers across the streets. Distribution of 100 kg bags of palm kernel cake and 2 jars of disinfectant to 1,028 pig farmers across the state. A total of 1,150 fish farmers received 3 bags each of 15 kg fish feed. Free mass vaccination campaign where 250,000 sheep and goats were vaccinated against PPR and 120,000 cattle were vaccinated against anthrax and CBPP. 2,536 cattle, sheep and goat farmers received 2 bags of buried dry grain, 1 block of salt lick, as well as 2 jars of agrichlor disinfectant across the state. 2,889 crop farmers across the state benefited from inputs distribution. 50% farm tractorization subsidy to arable farmers across the state. A total sum of 1 billion was approved as instantly released to facilitate soft loan facilities at single digits of 7% interest to small-scale farmers across the state. The ministry, in collaboration with OCP, a African engaged in training of smallholder farmers from 12 communities across the state on soil testing and good agricultural practice.
But we are talking of sustainability. Within the time of 30-something years, I won't say I derailed. I went to banking and I was a manager, a senior manager in banking. For 3 years, I ran back. So I know a bit of banking. Today, there is what is called mutual fund. And what he is preaching to us looks like mutual fund. If you have your 5,000 naira and somebody has 100 million into mutual fund, the pool will give you the same interest. I want us to see the benefit of the cooperative that we're trying to talk about from that angle. You have 5,000 naira. Ordinarily, if you have even a million and you go to a bank now for interest, they might not be giving you up to, less than 6%, 5%. If you go with 500 million to bank today, they might be giving you like maybe 16 or 13. But in a mutual fund, your 5,000 or 1 million with the 500 million of someone will attract the same interest. That is the kind of things that they are preaching to us. That togetherness, we can do more. Let me add to this, even as I will take my seat. If you have 5,000 birds, and you are using how many bags of feed approximately in a day? 5,000 birds. That is 25 bags. But if I go to any feed miller today, at the time I was using close to 10 tons a day, they must list it to me. And I can negotiate my price. So as a cooperative, we can come together to negotiate our prices. And one other thing that goes with it is that they will even give me rebate. At the end of a quarter, with what I'm buying, they will give me rebate. And that rebate, if you have cooperative, can be used also to develop ourselves.
I was happy when someone came on board and said there is money for poultry farmers. There is money for agriculture. There is money in Nigeria for doing business. Yes, it's true, there is money. Like the speaker said, he highlighted a lot of things that I was happy, I was impressed. I was highly impressed. because a lot of things, a lot of reasons why it's difficult to lend to not just poultry farmers, but agric is in its entirety. One of our major problems is traceability. Traceability is a major problem that this country has that this country is not talking about. We cannot sell our eggs abroad, not because we don't have a lot of eggs to sell abroad, but we cannot sell our eggs abroad because they are not traceable. They are not traceable. If you give me an egg here, do you have an egg here? Do we have any egg here? If I ask my pastor here, Pastor Gideon, this egg, where did it come from? He won't be able to tell me where the egg comes from. But I should be able to pick an egg and say, this egg comes from Zatek. This egg comes from Amo. This egg comes from Gideon's farm. Then everybody would start taking us serious. In terms of financing, Nigeria Microfinance Bank has done a lot of financing in the agric space, and we are still doing a lot of financing in the agric space.
Gather yourself with people that have the same mind so that you can achieve the same goal without stress. If you get to a bank today and you want to get 5 million naira loan, I'm telling you, you will be stressed. At a time, you'll be fed up. If you are a good cooperator, you can raise, if you have had what it takes, you can raise 100 million naira within 24 hours. Because you have labored for it, you are part of them, and giving you the fund is not difficult for them. People that may be saying maybe they have another belief, thinking interest rate is not what they believe, there are ways to that. There is a cooperative society here in Ibadan. They don't charge interest. They don't charge interest. Because they are with the same mind. They gather and they don't want to hurt another person's belief. All they do is to charge administrative percentage out of whatever money they give to you. And they are doing very well. So they are doing well without having a condemnation based on some people's belief. So if you have not gotten yourself to the level of being a cooperator, I'm appealing to you, especially the young ones, get yourself in this wagon and you will not regret it.
Farmers in Nigeria frequently travel on roads to transport goods, visit markets, and move farm produce. So to prevent accidents and ensure safe journeys, we have some road safety tips to be considered. And because some people will be like, what is the essence of road safety here? Actually, there is no business we can do in Nigeria that road safety presence is not needed. If you are not there for your production, we'll be there for the last phase, which is selling of your products. So the first point here, I'll be discussing about vehicle maintenance and readiness. How ready is our vehicles? We all know that there is no way we can do more in farming by selling in our farms. If you are waiting for people to come and pick your goods, so many perishables will go down. So the first thing we'll do here is we'll check our vehicles. Are they fine? Are they roadworthy? We all know of roadworthiness. We get that for our vehicles and all. So the first thing to check here is we have to check our brakes. You check our engine oil, our water level, our tires, lights before starting our journey. And I would like to emphasize more on our tires because we've encountered so many people that will come on the road and say, I just bought my tire yesterday. Why are you saying my tire is expired? So today I'm going to shed light on how to check our tires. Buying your tire yesterday from a Tokumbo vendor does not mean you just bought a new tire. You might be using your hard-earned money to buy an expired tire. The lifespan of a tire is just 4 years. And it's written on that tire. You will see DOT there. And after that DOT, you might be finding like 52, then 25. We only have 4 numbers written there. The 52 is the 52nd week of the year, which is either 2020, 2021, 2022. So by calculating that, if you have 01, that means your tire was manufactured the first week of that year. So buying a Tokumbo tire that has 5220 and you bought it yesterday, if you are being searched on the road, we'll book you for expired tires, even if you show us your receipts. Because you are actually buying an expired tire. And I believe if we all have this knowledge, we will know how to check before making a purchase. And we know how they do this tire, but they've not been able to handle the aspect of changing the date on those tires.
Join pan. Join pan.
As a poultry farmer, there are lots of things that to food security. Now, egg and chicken meat is the cheapest and yet the best in the poultry chain. So our concern is that let the federal government deliberately create an emergency in food sector by pumping substantial amount of money, by calling the stakeholders for meeting and let them go to this sector to be able to turn around the sector to produce enough feed for our teeming and growing population. And let me let you know that as a livestock farmer, a poultry farmer, our sector is one of the key sectors to provide and produce the quality protein we're talking about that yet is affordable for all the strata of society. You know, egg is the cheapest now, and yet egg is the most nutritious protein in the market. You go to a restaurant now, they give you a lump or whatever it is. If I go to 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and yet an egg is still costing 100 or 300 per egg, and the protein and the nutrient content of that is far 10 times much more than the ones we are buying at higher rate. And now the government needs to pump some money into the structure so that at least affordable meat can be available in the society. Let me not limit it to the livestock sector. The government needs to do their own detail and finance in other clients. Government pumping money into agriculture without the hope of the money coming back to develop structure and develop production. But in Nigeria, it's not so. Look at the money they pump into the poultry sector. Let them pump half into the agriculture sector. We will turn around food production in the country. We not only just feed ourselves, we also export.
We have looked at various challenges that is facing poultry industry in Nigeria, and Oyo State being the leading state in poultry production, because when we talk in terms of hatchery, this is the base. If you talk in terms of layer production, this is the base. If you talk in terms of poultry broiler production and the likes, this is the place. We have most of the stakeholders and smallholders farmers. In Oyo State, we have 5 zones which make up Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State. And out of those 5 zones, we have 13 registered chapters. Out of these 13 registered chapters, we have 35 cooperatives. We look at all these challenges and we see we cannot solve the problem alone. That is why we try to gather together, reason together, meditate together, and see that we can surmount most of this problem if we come together as cooperative. We believe togetherness, we are stronger, and that is why we embrace the theme that is strengthen poultry farmer through cooperative synergy and strategic investment. We see that we run a pilot last year when we were having egg lots. So there is a lot of people shouting in other states. They are having eggs they cannot sell. What we did is that we mobilize people. We designed a collective collection center, and we pull out some of these eggs cooperatively and sell with a partnership agreement with a viable company, and we are able to pay them. And that is why there is no egg glut in Oyo State. So we have come together as one in Oyo State, and that is why we are asking people to join plan and secure their future, because securing their future is very. This work we are doing, we need to find a way to bring our children, our offspring, tomorrow generation, youth. You see the analysis the lecturer is giving, that having 100 beds at the back of your house, you are more than a person that will be able to pay the minimum wage, which is 70,000. See the analysis at 80% production. So having like 200 or 300 beds as a young graduate, you are more than level 8 salary.
Sustainability are in different contexts, and one of the things I need to say is that for us to build sustainable poultry farming businesses, we need to think beyond family ownership. There's no poultry farm in Nigeria that has outlived their founders majorly. Maybe out of 100, maybe you can just see 1 or 2 of them. Most times when their founders are dead, you realize that the business goes down with their founders. So we must be able to leverage on a lot of sustainable practices, especially making sure that we structure our business models in such a way that it can outlive the founders. And it should not just be a family-owned enterprise. We should look beyond the family. When we have loyal staff that have been able to spend 5-10 years within the business, we should be able to include them in the business structure for us to be able to build sustainable poultry businesses. Productivity in terms of outputs and in terms of even farm management, technology has a major role to play. We have a lot of new technology platforms that are coming up that can actually help farmers when it comes to advisory services, for them to know more. They can leverage on digital platforms to learn. Even as small as a WhatsApp group, poultry farmers need to come together and form those clusters for them to be able to share knowledge, share ideas, even access to markets for their product. So they can leverage on a lot of our existing platforms that are already available, and even new ones that can help with traceability of farm products. Government is doing a lot in their own space. It's not just limited to agriculture. When we say government is the same government for education, for health, for other industries. And most times agri is just also one of the components they just need to focus on, because we all must eat. So in order to encourage youth and to make it much more attractive, I think the government needs to be sincere in the approach of empowering youth. For my presentation, I made it very clear that even with 100 birds, a young farmer can actually earn what is being given as minimum wage today. So you cannot imagine just that young farmer having 1,000 birds. So the government should, the enabling environment is gradually coming up, but there's a need for sincerity in making sure that we are able to support these youths, not just by not just by word of mouth, but making sure that we do the work and be able to follow through with whatever the government must have promised to do. The style of farming business that we practice in this side of the world, we don't. We farm in silos, and for you to be able to operate sustainably at the level of profits, you must be able to do some volumes. For example, when it comes to egg layer business, they could say that if it's not, if you don't have up to 250 birds, you may not really be profitable, right? So, but if they are able to come together in clusters, and form a cooperative, they can access resources that an individual farmer cannot access. But as 10, 15, 20 farmers, they can come together, put a structure together, and be able to access most of the benefits that they are looking for.
It's all about having different stakeholders in the industry. But we have discovered that each of these stakeholders have been operating on their own and having difficulty in breaking through. Now, Poultry Oyo, Pan Oyo, under the umbrella of the national body of Poultry Association of Nigeria, now gather these stakeholders together and work together with them to see that if we collaborate, work together, and do everything together in unity under the same umbrella, we will achieve more, we will win easier, and we will get to our destination in no time. So we work together in this Oyo State to bring every chain, value chain, and input provider together to see that our battle, one person's battle is everybody's battle. One person's challenge is everybody's challenge. Let's work it together so that we can gain. And that is the reason why we have put together this year's topic. If you ask everybody, everybody will tell you the major challenge we have is finance. And that is what is killing virtually every angle, every value provider. Then let us trace it together to how we can leverage on coming together as a body to confront the government. How can you come in decision and policy making, in working with the financial institution and system that we can put in place to alleviate the usual problem of farmer like egg gluts and so on and so forth, so that we can get it right in no time.
Well, we have discovered in the recent time that the poultry farming, it has gone beyond farming. It's now the trend of agribusiness. And when you are talking of agribusiness, it's a value chain in which not only the farmer are operating within the system to produce or to sell or to have inputs. Now we thought of it and we discovered that, okay, as an association in the state, what we can do is invite every stakeholder in the industry, be it you are a farmer, be it you are a drug producer or salesperson, be it you are into dairy chick production, you are a breeder farmer, you are a commercial egg producer, you are a processor, that means those are processing broiler birds into meats that are ready to be cooked. Let all of us come together, reason along every way, and see how we can synergize such that all of us will develop the industry and there will not be lack in any aspect of the business. That is why the state charter of the association had decided that this year the workshop should be more intensified, and it should bring in every player in the industry together under one umbrella.
Now, let me give you an example. Aggregated broiler production or aggregated egg production. These ones, they are a system, they are a model that we have tested and tried and proven to be correct. Whereby POCs are given to will be youth who are interested. Feed is given along. Their staff is paid. They're moving to heat, charcoal, and wood shaving, and to pump water is given to them. At 6 weeks, the birds are mature enough to just come enough to everything, and pay according to weight. Okay, 5-6 weeks you attain it. In fact, the new paradigm now is 32 to 33 days. You attain it. That's what you see. And then when the money is paid, the amount that was used to finance the farmer is deducted. That means government money comes back. Now the balance is the profit of the farmer. And another round comes. 6 cycles, 6 weeks, 7 weeks you clean your pen, 8 weeks another round comes. And on and on. So in a year you are going to be able to do 6 cycles. And each of these cycles, government and the farmer has his profit. So it just requires government putting a certain amount of money down. These are the new paradigm in poultry production. The government will put the money down. They will use in buying inputs for the farmer, and thereafter, when the bird matures, the off-taker comes, off-takes it. The price would have been agreed before you begin the program, and when he off-takes it, the money that is used to finance the farmer is deducted. The balance is his profit, and the money is reflow again. So the cycle continues. You understand? And in this way, government, they are using, even the farmer can even pay at interest, because there's one we did, we paid interest. Another one is on the offering right now. It's right in the table of the government of Oyo State right now. When it's signed, farmer will pay interest at 1.75%. And what does that mean? It means the money that government has put down for the farmers to work, apart from the fact that the money comes back, they also generate interest on the fund. When government tax road, their money comes back, is violent or structures. But this one, government money will come back with interest. And even the farmers who are involved, all of them will go and pay their payee. And what does that do? It increases the internal generated revenue of that state, and then it creates employment, which is the principal duty of government. It empowers each farmer, because if you are able to do it for 6 cycles, you will have made enough profit for you to stand on your farm without needing any government intervention. So other new youths or other new farmers comes in again, because the money might not be enough to go around at the same time. They come around again. And what is it? You catalyze business, because when the off-taker comes, off-taker will not be able to off-take everything. There will still be some that will be left that will sell. You understand? And what does it mean? It means government has done a lot of things, just putting their money that is secured. They have created employment, they have generated revenue internally, they have business activities within the environment, and yet you know that poultry is a multiplier effect. All those involved around the poultry, they have benefited from it. So with this new program, it will encourage a lot of youths, a lot of to come into agriculture without really having a money of their own.
What government needs to do is very simple. What they can do is just bring youth, train them. When you train them, empower them, allow the existing poultry farmers to mentor them. If we mentor them, surely they won't run away. All this they are passing down will stop. It will stop. Government should try to create a forum, and I think Oyo State is planning something of such. Train these people, practical training, not theoretical training book and this. We have been in industry for so long. I started poultry business with 24,000 naira in 1999. Today, I can, because we are on here, but we thank God that we are progress.
Government need to provide enabling environment. 2, they need to provide capital in form of they can make available the facility, make provision for input supplier, and as this youth We have facility, we have space for you where you can operate, especially in poultry. We have poultry houses built in a particular place. We are going to fund the feed miller. We are going to fund the drug suppliers. You go and work and produce for us, and after it we will take it up and market. It should be the burden of the government to be off taker. If the government is off taking, the tension will be less on the people doing the job, because when you put your money to sponsor a program and you are off taking it, definitely you know the people producing will be happy to produce the more.
My advice to the younger generation, like myself, I'm also a young man, is that we should all come together and see agric industry, most especially poultry business, as a business with future benefit. It's not just a business with immediate profit. It's a business that you can start growing with, and from this present time you will grow even into the old age. And you know, it's a business that once you master every corner ups and down, by the time you become I don't want to use the old man, by the time you become aged in the industry, you will be more knowledgeable, knowing where to go and how to manage every situation that may come up.
NPS 2025 is loaded. The turnout was much more than what we prepared for, and this one we are already leveraging, we are already interfacing with countries of the world, European countries, the Asian countries. We are doing what we call collaboration with them, and very soon we'll begin to visit the university. We're going to see the turnout of NPS 2025. It's going to be awesome, and we want to make the whole stakeholders in this sector know that you don't miss NPS 2025 at Presidential Library Complex. Don't miss it. And then new things are going to be exposed, new sessions. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of researches that are brought to us. For instance, now a lot of people still believe that they can do the umbrella for 6 weeks. No, at most 5 days. You are already going. So while others are still waiting for 6 weeks, we are already stuck in another round. So all of these new things are going to be coming, and we want to encourage you, please don't miss out NPS 2025.
We want to do now. Currently, this Hanoi investment is aimed to solve so many of our challenges, to surmount our problems, and that is why we have created this egg aggregation. Now we are going to input sourcing. We want to source input for our member at a very minimum cost, so that they will be able to have a good profit margin. At the same time, we were thinking of upgrading our workshop to international level. And one of the things we want to do is this is the building, the conference center. All these places we are looking is being owned by Pan Oyo State. We are hoping to roof this. Then by next year we won't have the cost to go and take a canopy or this, so we'll be able to do it here. Then most of the poultry shows that is happening in Oyo State will be hosted here. So this one will generate revenue for the members, so that we won't be levy ourselves. My slogan as the chairman is to leave poultry industry in Oyo State better than I met it. And that is why I always strive to look for all possible ways by which we can reduce costs of our farmers, so that they will be able to be in business and generate more profit, so as to create employment opportunity for the states and the federal in general.
you.